make sure it's been under a minute.
Even the game he lost, it wasn't due to the
lost.
time
He
he
lost
lost
right.
very quickly.
And here we have it.
Well,
the final
yes,
round
the final
of
round.
Game 10 has begun, and will Magnus Carlsen continue his winning ways and, really rack up an outstanding score today? What would that be? That would be 6 wins and 2 draws if he wins this one. No, 1 loss.
1 loss.
1 loss.
The first game won. So.
Yeah. 1 loss, 1 draw, and 6 wins.
Wow. And Magnus is playing a line that he actually played against his second, Jan Ludwig Hammer, where Magnus lost to his second in Norway with his very early A6.
You know what's funny in that moment? He hovered to play Bishop E7.
Yes.
And he was about to play it, and then he reached all the way over to the other side and played A6. It's kind of interesting. Like,
he was going to play Bishop E7.
Bishop E7 instead of A6, and then he went,
I'll play this move 5. Yeah. And after Bishop D6, do we have a move?
Castles. Boy, I would love to see Liren win this game. Just to salvage some pride.
Definitely.
Castles, Rook C1.
How'd you do? I won the first and the last game. That would be nice,
good.
Right?
It has a nice sound to it, for sure. Castles and Rook C1. Has he played C7, C6? Hard to tell. Yes,
no,
there
A3,
he goes.
C6.
Well, it was Rook C1, C6.
There was Rook E8, A3, C6.
Rook E8 was tossed in there, too. Okay. So, Ding with the move A3 is making pretenses that he wants to play a minority attack with B2, B4. Oftentimes, White is trying to utilize this outpost, the C5 outpost, by playing Knight A4 to C5. And instead he has dropped his bishop back to G3. Very quick trade on G3 by Magnus. And another
Bishop G4?
Magnus is playing like, hey, I've prepared all of this. So he's like, he's just playing it so a la tempo, huh?
His instincts.
G4,
he simply right now trusts his instincts and his understanding.
He's in his
zone. The knight went back to E2 and just wham, knight E4 instantly. He's feeling flow. That's the magic word Magnus used when I interviewed him. I believe it was in Leuven, and he said the secret is just finding flow. You just start moving the pieces. He just gets into that zone where every move just comes out of his fingers. This one next, trust this one, trust your moves, just make the next move. Once he gets in flow, he's unstoppable, and he's so confident in every one of his decisions. And it doesn't take him too long to make up his mind.
And by the way, this move, Knight F4, has just given Magnus a chance to seize the initiative once again because of the move G7, G5. G5 will drive the knight right back to the square it came from. You don't want to go out here to the H3 square, rather you're probably going to go back to E2, and then after Queen F6 we can see that there's no minority attack on the queen side, and it's black who's seizing the game on the king side.
And he just instead decided to not be that risky, and he brought his other knight to F6, and after bishop to E2, he dropped his knight instantly again, back to D6, just playing move after move, and now knight E5, and Magnus traded off his bishop on E2, queen takes E2, and we see some dancing and prancing of the knights on both sides.
Exactly.
Knight from F to E4.
Knight on F6 to E4. Yeah.
And that knight is hard to drive away, F3 not being possible because of knight takes on G3. Oops. So both sides have knights placed well, and instead he played G4, did Ding Liren. Now,
what's queen H4?
Yeah, this one, weakening squares.
Whoa.
And Magnus wondering what's up on that side, and instead he's played queen G5.
I was about to say, he seizes the opportunity. The moment it's there, it's extraordinary how he just has a sixth sense.
And G3 was played. Queen H4 might have been met by G3, in fact, and this is why I think he didn't play it.
Pulled it back onto the G5 square. So G2, G3, now on the board.
And now, how does black break this position open? F5 looks sexy, but it weakens the E5 square permanently.
How about starting with F6? First of all, I don't like this knight on E5. Can I get away with F6 and drive the knight back before playing F5? Do I get my
sure that f5 actually does anything, even if you get this move. I'm looking for aggressive moves, but maybe you don't get anything from it. The challenge is, how does black improve his position? Because white has been holding on this b4 idea for a while, but it doesn't look like it's going to do anything now given this constellation. So maybe black should double rooks maybe on the e file, or he needs some kind of plan. Pieces well placed, but what to do with them. By the way, whoa, f5 did appear on the board. Okay.
Not f6, but f5.
No, f5. I mean,
I like the idea of f5, but I thought, well, do it in a stutter step. Kick this bad boy out of the center first. But f5 in the world.
f5 was the first move that came to my head
immediately.
But I was respecting this knight on e5 a bit too much, so it made me hesitate to play this move. And king to g2 was a response by.
I like that move by
Ding. He's clearly going rook h1, rook h5 as an idea.
Absolutely, for sure.
And he's ahead by a minute and change on the clock. So that's good news.
Indeed, for Ding it is. Magnus has played this very, very quickly, very, very well. I just had to...
Just took on g4.
Hesitation. And
Rook
now...
h1.
Now rook h1.
Planning to play rook h5 and to recapture this pawn at our leisure.
And knight f6, guarding everything. The h5 square and the g4 pawn.
Ruh-roh.
Ruh-roh is right. How do you get back your pawn if you're Ding? Maybe he has to play rook h4?
Yeah.
Then what walks into
but knight f5 is coming, right. So what
was
does
that?
he do?
Why? Because Ding could have simply recaptured this pawn with the move knight g4. He played rook h1, eyeballing the h5 square. But
Forgot about
knight f6.
Nice retreating move. Nice knight retreating move. And this one, though he's ahead, he's got good pieces, but what is his next move? Rook h4 allows knight f5. There's nothing on c6.
I think I would have to double rooks on the h file, right? Rook h2.
What does that do? He has played it.
He
has played it. This is an exchange sack, maybe?
What did he do?
Rook h4.
And I thought that white was sacking exchange and black sacked exchange.
Well, you were right, Mari.
Rook e5 was always a thought, but it looked like you could play knight f5 as a better move, but Magnus decided, I am now up 2 pawns. You can never play rook takes g4, by the way. You can never play rook takes g4 because I'm up 2 pawns, right? 2 pawns. So you can never play rook takes g4 to try to equalize the situation. Plus your b2 pawn is hanging anyway, so the rook hightailed it back to h1. Magnus sacrificing an exchange, but it was necessary.
Queen e4 check.
Queen e4 check, and now the
pawn on g4 is...
Big advantage.
And he's going to try to get a knight to e5.
Oh my
yes.
He has just played knight to c4. Same root idea.
King to g1.
King g1, knight c4, coming to e5.
Queen c2, looking desperately to trade queens. Magnus said, I don't care. Let him do that.
He's allowed it after
queen takes queen, and knight takes queen. And look at those knights.
Beautiful. Beautiful
knights. Artistry. We're talking about a 10-minute game, people. King g2, rook f8.
Right.
And now there's a g5 threat. A rook c2 to guard the f2 point, and then rook f6 instantly, not giving that knight any home. And again, g5 is being thought about. The knight will be forced to go to h5. Rook to d1.
Rook h1, d1?
Yes. Okay. That way he can go to d3 at least. He had to find a square. And g5 anyway. Knight d3 looks forced. Another trade, and he's just saying, my knight on e4 is a monster. h5 played now, and white is tied up hand over foot. He can't move any pawns. No pawn moves, no pawn breaks, therefore his rooks are dead to the board.
Wow, what an instructive example in just a 10-minute game, Yasser. That knight on e4 is worth as much as a rook.
e4 played, h5 continuing the march, and the f2 pawn is now under siege.
Becoming critical.
a4.
And by the way, there's rook f3. Let's toss that move in too.
King g7.
Magnus has tossed in king g7.
And b5, desperation. He's got to open up lines.
AB,
and now king g6.
Right. Just snuggling up to these pawns so you can escort them.
Now capturing. And now black has a passed c pawn, but it's being pressured right now. How does a d3 rook get any kind of work?
Well,
and he's
c5.
c5 played.
Which immediately, by the way,
Because this also frees the rook to go to the square you wanted to bring it to, f3.
Rook back to d3.
He needs to keep that
Finding a
counter
weakness.
play.
Finding a weakness. h3, check, and now what? King g1, and a rook to d6. Every move so fast. So confident is Magnus.
I'm double guessing Magnus on that h3 move. It seemed to me that move he could have kept in abeyance for quite some time. But nonetheless, his idea is really straightforward. He just wants to go king f5, c4, king over, and just with 2 passed pawns, h3, as well as c4.
Rook d1, king f5 on the board. This is an outstanding blitz.
Rook a2.
Wow. Rook b2.
Rook b2.
Rook b2, excuse me.
And by the way, he had to cover
c4
the first
been
rank
played.
because there was always a possibility of a back rank issue.
Rook b8.
Finally, this is maybe the most active move
but
that
c3 as soon as it happened.
the most active move that
Speaking of active.
has played in the game.
And now we got a check in. Rook f8.
Yay.
Like that movement
Checks
in
are
the
good.
movies. Check! Oh no! King
Okay.
A
e5.
little hesitation on
Rook
Magnus's
e8
part. Rook check, and now another check, and now offering an exchange of rooks, which dare not be accepted.
Because of these 2 passed pawns. White's king is forever stuck.
Rook d8.
Rook
Need to
d8.
take tomb.
Now c2 is always going to be a move, but he's got to bring his rook back first to stop the check, and he's just checking. Rook d6, rook e8, king f5, rook f8, check, king e6. Now
No more
approaching
perpetual.
that rook,
No more perpetual. And
he's got a threat
And he
of
can use the king the other.
isn't c2 really a live threat sometimes?
yes, yeah. There's
c2
some kind
and
of
rook c6?
rook c6. But how do you make progress after that? Knight c3 or something?
No, knight d2, d4, and knight f3 check. So I'm thinking that black's big threat in the position is just to play c2. And
He's played check.
he has played check, king d7, of
Yep.
course.
And now rook a8.
Okay,
And things haven't been as simple for Magnus as he would have hoped.
that is true.
Yeah, what about rook b?
I'm thinking knight d2, though.
Knight
knight
d2 to
d2?
stop.
Just preparing the king
It's a long
entry.
king march, and
And
he has
he's-
played knight d2.
He's played knight d2. By the way, also keep in mind knight b3 and c2 is on tap.
C2 is a threat right now. No. Close. Not
Close.
quite, but close.
Well,
Rook c1
he
to
played
stop
rook
that.
c1,
Rook c6.
Yes, very
Insisting.
good move. Now again,
But c2, rook a2. So it's not quite there yet. Rook a3.
rook a3. Okay, that will force
Right back to e4.
But the difference is that thanks to this maneuver, the rook on d1 is no longer pressuring the pawn on d5.
Yeah, this is
and black
bad.
is simply planning on improving his king.
Yep.
Remember, it's black playing 2 rooks versus king, rook, knight, and a
That's
passed
why
pawns.
White
Rook
didn't run
d1.
back to d1, king e6,
King
rook
e6,
back
rook
to
back to
c1.
c1.
And now the king can, well, you got rook c5, king e5, and d4. Again, this king is forever
He played
stuck.
rook to b6.
Rook
To
to
b6 is
e6,
interesting. I guess it
threatening rook at.
And he has
Rook takes
taken it.
c3.
I was
knight
wondering
c3,
why
rook
he couldn't
c3.
capture this, but Magnus has worked out that
Already?
he
b1
must be.
check f1.
Yeah, this looks like a winning rook,
Rook
and
c2
pawn.
is forced, and here comes the king.
Yeah, it looks like a winning rook and pawn endgame, folks.
He's not stalemated. That's very important because
Well, the king is just coming to f3 and gift me your pawn. That's it. That's all she wrote.
yeah, how does he do anything
You
here?
can't handle that. It's decisive penetration.
And again, they're looking for some kind of stalemate, but I don't see. There's no
Pawn
way.
is that e3 pawn. You know, you need it.
Wow.
If you could get rid of the e3 pawn and then try to do a mad rook when he gets to f3, but you have that e pawn that's constantly going to be able to move.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Well, I mean, it just feels like no matter what strategic problems there exist on the board, Magnus is solving them better than Ding.
Look at Magnus's time.
Big strategic
Dingman
fights.
might resign here.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
well,
of course.
there's no play. There's no play. This,
That would be 6 wins, 1 loss, and a draw.
that's a good day.
That's
at
the score that
office.
Ding Liren needed to have today to make a comeback.
Yes, exactly.
Himself, but no such luck. And again, look at the time. Magnus has managed the time masterfully.
This was sparkling.
Just the way
that
he plays.
chain sacrifice and the subsequent endgame play, lovely.
It really was.
I mean, sure, Liren messed up by missing knight f6, but then the way that Magnus followed it up with that imaginative technique.
Retreating moves are very hard to see.
Right.
Knight retreats like that one. He guarded the square, he guarded his pawn, and he had to make great decisions right at that point. And now with the clock inexorably ticking down at 1:10 and counting, Liren looking for some hope against hope, but he just doesn't have a move. And it's the truth. He may simply resign here. The king is marching into f3, and
he missed that knight e4 f6 retreat. He had to recapture the pawn on g4. That rook h1 move, ill-timed, and a masterful exchange sacrifice. Magnus knew there was only two results afterwards. And
b2, Magnus not even hesitating after seeing the move.
And there we go, king f3.
e4, last chance. King takes.
And now we've got to pass d-pawn to push up the board. Thank you.
Now a check.
King, anywhere, king d3 looks simplest.
Now there are perhaps like some lines with a stalemate trick, but Magnus is not going to go for them.
e3.
It would have to be with the king going f3. And there we have it. Magnus Carlsen with an incredible performance. Some of the best game 10 you will ever see from a human.
6-1. What an incredible score.